I don't think he's going to LSU. I think, I think he's been pretty stoic about everything this season, and now this is the latest thing. It's the LSU stuff. He doesn't say a whole lot. Mel Tucker's MO was not saying much. I think if anything, when you can to take out of yesterday, he mentioned something about. You mentioned recruiting. So did he yesterday, saying recruits are taking notice of the start that they've had this year. Because he's talking about recruits, I think he's also probably had to address the LSU situation with the recruits. And to him, that's what matters, not going out in a press conference the week of the Michigan game and talking about it. And I suspect that he won't say anything the rest of the season about LSU because if he's focused on every game each week. I get just a little bit nervous because I think he's a really good coach, and I love what he's done there and how he's changed things so quickly. But I also recognize that if Michigan State wins and keeps winning, that he's going to make his own money here. And I'm not convinced that the LSU job is a better job right now. I think typically when you think LSU and Michigan State, the LSU job seems like a better job. But in the grand scheme of things right now, I'm not sure it is because of the stuff that's going on at LSU. They're waiting for another shoe to drop there with some controversy that happens outside of the football program, let alone stuff that could be dropped about Ed Ogeron. And, that's something that I don't know if you want to step into.
Any coach that takes that job is probably going to get a couple extra years because of that. And that could be an attractive thing. Who knows? But Evan, we wanted you to get your two cents.
First off, let's not act like he didn't come into Michigan State under weird stipulations and circumstances. So I don't think that would scare him away at all. I personally believe if LSU was to offer him the job, he's gone. And I don't think there's anything that would convince him otherwise. It's a better coaching job, right? LSU, flat out. We can all admit that, right? Am I talking to myself?
I would. You always have to look at the context, right? Right now, the context is you're going from one of the toughest divisions. If you're considering everything, one of the toughest divisions in football to one of the toughest divisions in football.
Sure.
You are going from to a program that there's somebody else is the king of the division. You can
same situation here.
Yeah, you can recruit at a higher level there than you can at Michigan State, most likely.
Yes.
But Michigan State has already kind of gone through the off-field stuff, whereas LSU has yet to really get into it, and it's going to happen.
I mean, sure, but at the end of the day, they're still LSU. They still recruit heavily. I mean, they're a couple years off of a national title. So those kids that came in, I mean, huge recruiting classes that they had. And I just feel that this guy, there's no reason for me to put my trust in him watching what he did to Colorado.
Well, that's the thing that has that little nervousness with me is because he was so emphatic about staying at Colorado, and then 48 hours later he's being
I couldn't believe
his next coach at Michigan State.
It took as many questions as it did to get that question asked. I thought it would be the first question asked in that press conference. And he had to expect that was coming, correct? You had to.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had to tell him. He could have gotten out in front of it last week and done it. I know he didn't have scheduled media, but he can still talk whenever he chooses to
Release
talk.
a statement.
Something along those lines, right? I didn't want to see it on Twitter because that's where he did it last time, and then 2 days later, here he is being introduced at Michigan State. It's a good problem to have because when you're successful, you know your coach is going to be looked at, whether it's an SEC job, an NFL job, which I think his main goal, I think every football coach's main goal when you're under 50 is to be an NFL coach, right? So eventually he's going to leave Michigan State if he keeps having success, right? You would think.
Maybe. I don't know because I'd be different because I think college jobs I don't think of them as stepping stones. I think of them as finish lines.
And it could be a career, and it's just it bothers me so much because we talk about the ties that he had to Michigan State. Well, he has ties to LSU, and he has ties to Georgia, and he has ties in the NFL. And so when he said that yesterday, I just kind of rolled my eyes and moved on because it doesn't change the way that I think.
So it doesn't.
No, because I think if he's offered the job, he'll take it. I really do.
And it doesn't change your opinion at all either.
Well, no, because I think even if he's offered a job at LSU, I think Michigan State might have the last word and they could step up and offer him more.
And sure, and I think, these 3 games that are coming up for them are big. If he loses all three, I don't think LSU's calling at all.
Probably
but if
not.
he wins two of those three, he might get calls beyond LSU.
I don't think he's big enough in LSU's mind of what they want.
Well, they took Ed Ogeron, who had
without
nothing.
being insulting at all, I tend to agree. I tend to think that it's an impressive start, and it may get incredibly impressive in the next month.
Well,
But it seems a bit early. I feel like his name being included in the speculation is presuming that he's going to win a bunch of these games.
he's basically coached 2 years as a head coach. When you look at the COVID year, this year, and then the 1 year at Colorado, versus people like that have national championship pedigrees, like Jimbo Fisher, whose name is being brought up, people that have the proven track record, not just once, not twice, but maybe 3 times of jumping ship, like a Lane Kiffin. I think there are bigger names out there that the LSU fan base really wants, and the LSU donors really want over Mel Tucker. But if Mel Tucker goes out and Michigan State goes out and beats Michigan and beats Penn State and challenges Ohio State, then it could look different. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it'll just play itself out.
I think that they look at Mel Tucker and they say, look at the situation that they were in at Michigan State. That football team was not very good at the end under Mark D'Antonio. He came in, he changed a culture in a year during COVID. Imagine what he could do with all the resources at his fingertips.
All right, 248-539-9797. We just want to know, Spartan fans, when you heard that comment or read the comments, you feel same, different? Did it change anything, or is it just, hey, that doesn't mean anything? Maybe it means a lot.